We are in the midst of a trigger event, big one obviously, and a series of them. Once you hit the tipping point, you know, like dominoes, they topple over. We are going into another trigger event coming up, but I want to ask you what your personal trigger event is and what can happen from that that could be so amazing, and why these things happen. You're going to love this because you might be in a trigger event right now and you could change everything if you don't like what's happening. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you live an amazing life, move past fear. It's possible. You hold the power of the universe because you are the universe. You're one. We're all one. We can do anything. We can create anything. There's a tropical storm out there. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I sit here and I'm in amazement at how powerful nature is. What's a trigger event? We went through one in COVID. We have trigger events all the time. It happens every moment, a trigger event. Now, a cumulative behavior pushes us to trigger events. What's a trigger event? An opportunity for positive change. That's all it is. It happens as a tipping point of what's not working, but the event, the trigger event itself, is the entire reason why people change. All right? Why do they change? When you have your back up against the wall, it's not until something drastic happens, a trigger event, that you will make a decision. It's all really super positive. Now, I've got students all over the board with different things that have happening in their lives. One has a relationship in her family which triggered, it's not a healthy one, and so she's working very hard to do all the best possible things, right? You might feel that your way. I hear this constantly. But a trigger event was when she hit a tipping point and drew a line. She hit a tipping point with her work and drew a line and said no. But guess what happened? She got a higher paying job with people who love her. What happened with the relationship? All of a sudden her child realized that she pushed her mom too far, and that relationship, the dynamics are completely changing for the positive. The trigger event was used by her in a positive way to change the circumstances instead of trying to hang on to them or say it's wrong or go into a state. And this is what most people do, is they go into a state of great pain and struggle. I don't want this to happen. How do I change this to make it back the way it was? Which is never really good anyways, or else you wouldn't have hit a tipping point. Tipping points happen when things are not in alignment. All right? Our health on this planet, how we treat our bodies, what we put in our foods, how everything's handled, created a tipping point, and therefore we had a global event. Now, people went into that event and went into tipping points, both positive and negative. So what happened to you? Did you say, oh, this is horrible and I'm stuck at home because life wasn't the way your ego said it should be? Or did you say, life just changed? I can do anything I want with it, provided that I'm not breaking any local laws. But that doesn't change anything. I can get creative. I can write a book or learn skills online. You guys see this all the time. Learn skills online. Create a business. What do you want to do with your life? Think outside the box. What's your tipping point? What's your event? What's your trigger event? Now, we have more trigger events because now what's happening is the trigger events are causing people to live completely different lives. Some of them battling what's going on and fighting with each other, blaming governments, going into nasty dispositions, right? And then the other part of people, and it's not just black or white, there's some gray in there, but most people I'm seeing because I'm tuned into that frequency, are making super positive changes. They're saying, I'm tired of watching the garbage. It's all false anyways. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create my life. What's that life I want? So they're taking courses, they're taking my course, they're purchasing properties, going off grid. You guys have done this. You've seen that I have given you opportunity to go off grid with no money and do it the right way. They're saying these things are available to me. They'd have never discovered that had they not had a trigger event of losing a job or whatever is happening out there that they're just fed up with. So many people quitting their jobs, and it's not because they got fired. They're saying no. People are saying no to destroying our planet. And so therefore the response, the trigger event, has been major corporations, including Saks Fifth Avenue, making big changes. Why? Because we're demanding it. Because we don't want to live that way. Our trigger event is that now I'm changing my lifestyle. I'm not going to use your garbage anymore. I'm not going to pollute the planet. I'm not going to use plastic. Saks Fifth Avenue, Justin, this may not be a big deal to you, but everything counts. They just stated that they are going to use all the cosmetic containers. We get to ship them back to them. They're going to reuse or recycle them. They're going to be responsible for all of those because millions go in, millions of water bottles every minute. Every minute. Are you using one? What's the trigger event that has to happen to you before you stop doing the things that are detrimental to your health and the planet? And when you do that, there's a clean, beautiful slate, a sky that opens up because there's no noise in there anymore. There's no garbage. There's no abuse. There's no ego that doesn't care what it needs to do to get what it wants. The trigger events are going to continue because we still have a big percentage of people who are in a crisis and going into negativity. I work with these people all day long. I work with these students all day because they don't know where to go from there. And it's tough because once you're in there, how do you get out of it? You have to have practices. How do I change this mindset that's been programmed for decades, that came from my parents and their parents and their parents, and how do I change that thinking? You can do it. All right? So the trigger event could push you to go into a deep, dark place that you think you can't get out of. That is the most beautiful moment. The trigger event is the biggest opportunity. You've got it. It's here. If I hadn't had this trigger event, I would just sit in the house and, paint and garden and do whatever. But no, the trigger event says you can't do that anymore. Now what are you going to do? And you're going to say, I don't want my life to be uncomfortable. This doesn't feel good. I'm going to have to do something different. And I don't want to think this way anymore. I don't like feeling bad. How do I change it? And people are changing it. What's your trigger event? Because the accumulative negative thinking that's going deeper into separation, because the events are happening out there that are unpleasant to the ego, are going to trigger other events. And it's going to trigger those of us on the higher frequency that put service to others first to benefit greatly, because we're going to find more solutions and more ways to change our lives. It will then absolutely affect other people in unconsciousness. They're going to benefit from that. It's going to be very positive, and we're going to offer them those solutions. Are you ready? Yeah, trigger events coming up. 2024, probably a pretty big one. More tipping points, and you may consider preparing right now for things such as eating healthier, living a simpler lifestyle, respecting the planet, being a part of a community, coming together, having a network of people and friends that want to do amazing things for one another, and that make sure that if those out there in need start to get that help, that assistance, without judgment. It's a world we can live in that's so beautiful, so joyous, so loving. These things you shall do and more. Are you ready to do them? What's your trigger event? When it happens, or if it's happening now, you have a choice. It's the opportunity. It says here, a beautiful chance, opportunity for massive positive change. Will you take it? Will you shift into that new reality, or will you battle it and fight it, say it shouldn't happen? It's your choice. The assistance is out here. I have free videos. We have free videos for online training. Beautiful, beautiful training program. Please subscribe and share this with people. Let people know that we don't have to suffer or struggle anymore. There's a beautiful world you can live right now, even in a trigger event. Get ready for the next one, because when it happens, you'll see it differently. It's going to feel uncomfortable sometimes, but you'll know that there's always another choice to be made, starting here and going out to here. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.